A very good evening and welcome. This is Prime Time News on TV1. Today is Wednesday, the 12th of October 2022. I am Jama Ratnayaka for the Newsfirst team. Here are your headlines for tonight.
Shooting in Nahungalla. 32 people gunned down since May 2022. Income tax amended. Monthly income of over 100,000 rupees subject to tax. Senior police officers summoned to the Human Rights Commission over Sunday's protest. Eric Solheim appointed President's International Climate Advisor. Wanidu Hasaranga confident of T20 World Cup triumph.
Plan nega simple. Asia Cup e dinu age World Cup e dinu.
In tonight's top story, the latest crime committed using a T-56 assault rifle was reported from Ahungalla this afternoon.
It was just after 12 noon on Wednesday when a man in a car opened fire at a three-wheeler driver at the Ahungalla three-wheeler park using a T-56 assault rifle. The target of the shooting had scuffled with the shooter before the shooter made a getaway. The man who was injured in the shooting was admitted to the Balapitiya base hospital and he was identified as a 45-year-old male from Galvehira in Ahungalla. Sri Lanka police said officers recovered 7 T-56 assault rifle bullet casings from the crime scene.
Sri Lanka police suspects that this shooting is somehow linked to the previous shootings in Ahungalla. The shooter had failed to properly gun down the victim. This is what the police observed. The LPD division and the Ahungalla police are investigating the shooting.
LPT කොටාශ අපරාධ විමර්ශනාංශයත් ඒ වගේම අහුංගල්ල පොලිස් ස්ථානයත් මෙවැනිට ආරම්භ කර තිබෙනවා අදාළ සැකකරුවන් අත්අඩංගුවට ගැනීම සඳහා.
According to police records, since the 31st of May 2022, a total of 32 people were gunned down and 15 people were injured in shooting incidents among criminal gangsters in the western and southern provinces of Sri Lanka.
The Human Rights Commission of Sri Lanka summoned senior police officers today to inquire about the incidents that occurred during the protest at Galface Green last Sunday.
A group of senior police officers, including senior DIG of the Western Province Deshabandha Tennakun, was summoned to the Human Rights Commission of Sri Lanka today. In addition to the senior police officers, the complainants were also summoned to the commission. The commission said the senior DIG of police in charge of the Western Province Deshabandha Tennakun will be summoned again. The case filed over unlawful entry to the Prime Minister's office was taken up at the 4th Magistrates Court today. 4th Magistrate Tilinda Gamage, who ordered the investigating officers to report the progress of the investigation to the court on the 14th of December, ordered that the case be postponed until that date. Why are you suppressing us like this? We never try to harm anyone. However, Ranil Wickremesinghe is trying to silence the youth of this country, just like his uncle used to do it back then. This is just a repetition of what happened back then.
The Sri Lankan government published the Inland Revenue Amendment Bill last evening. According to this bill, a person who is earning over 100,000 rupees per month will be subject to an income tax of 6%. Newsfirst's Nisa Suryarachi brings us a more comprehensive report.
When an entire island nation is getting prepared to watch the Sri Lankan cricket team take part in an ICC T20 Cricket World Cup down in Australia, what is the government up to? The government is trying to score 6 runs of a no ball, and they're trying to take it out of your pocket. And let's see how the government is trying to do that. According to the current tax system, the taxable income is over 300,000 rupees. That means if someone earns 300,000 rupees, they do not have to pay a single cent to the government if that is their monthly income. But let's say someone earns 350,000 rupees. They have to pay a 6% tax for the income over 300,000. That means for the 50,000 additional income, they pay 3,000 rupees in tax. The government is trying to change the tax system. The government is trying to bring down the taxable income down to 100,000 rupees, and the government will now charge 52,500 rupees if your income is 350,000 rupees a month. If your income is over 100,000 rupees, the government will tax an amount of 6% for the 41,666 rupees that is above the 100,000 rupees. Let's say your income is 150,000. That means for the 50,000 they will charge a separate tax. Back in 2019, if you are earning 300,000 rupees, you are paying 0 taxes. Now back in 2022, you're earning 300,000 rupees. You have a taxable income of 200,000 rupees. But is this fair? In 2019, for 350,000 rupees, you pay 3,000 rupees in taxes. But right now, you pay more than 52,000 rupees in taxes in 2022. But let's take the prices of goods and services back in 2019. Petrol was so much cheaper. A litre of petrol is 410 rupees in the market right now. A loaf of bread used to be 60 to 70 rupees, and now it's more than 180 rupees. So even if your income has increased, your disposable income, the value of your disposable income has decreased, and in fact you have to now pay 52,000 rupees extra to the government every single month, when back in the day you just paid 3,000 rupees. Is that fair? Is that justified? That's a question for our viewers to answer.
Why is the government preparing to hike income taxes? Here is SLPP MP Ranjit Bandara elaborating on this today.
A country cannot depend on external sources in order to bridge its budget deficit. The new tax bill amendment will further broaden the tax net, and all those earning over 100,000 rupees per month will be subject to the tax. The upper level will increase to 36%. This is still a bill and it needs to be passed in Parliament. The people need to know that the amendment to the tax bill will be presented to the Parliament and it was discussed at length.
The Economic Centre of the Samagi Janabalawege also commented on the recent tax hikes.
අපි ඔපරේෂන් එක කරන්න ඕනේ ලෙඩා බේරගන්න. දොස්තර කියනවා නම් ඔව් මගේ ශල්‍ය කර්මය සාර්ථකයි ලෙඩා මලා කියලා.
If the doctor says that we need to do the operation to save the patient and then says my operation is successful and the patient is dead, there's no point. Now, what do you mean? All the extensions will be removed only on the 30th of September. From the 1st of October, new taxes will come into effect. These are the things that were hidden. These are the agreements with the IMF. They did not bring this to the Parliament or even the Finance Committee. If you are asked to eat a bun and if you put that bun directly down your throat, you will choke and die. It should be consumed piece by piece. What will happen if you open your mouth all at once? The bun will get stuck in your mouth and you will choke to death. These recent tax amendments should be discussed more. If we leave it to the military and do this by force without coming to a compromise with the people, it will backfire unimaginably. Didn't you say that Brit financing is on the way? 4% is coming from Japan, billions are coming from China, and more billions from India. Nothing seems to be coming, so the doors of the international market are closed to us, and the doors of our friendly countries are also closed. The doors of the World Bank, Asian Development Bank and AIB are also closed. The President said that by December we will be able to sign the extended fund facility of the IMF and get the first tranche of the total $2.9 billion. What he is saying is that this will not happen. If we want to get back to where we were, there are many conditions that we need to fulfill. One is political stability, economic good governance. The World Bank needs to see that there is economic good governance and political stability. We accept that this has been done because there is nothing else to do, but it is understood that this is not the picture shown to us, but the truth.
The Frontline Socialist Party noted that it is not fair to burden the people with taxes at a time when the authorities have paved the way for corrupt dealings. The Association of Inland Revenue Commissioners had said that 800 billion rupees are unpaid taxes from these big companies. The sugar scam took place in the past, but no action has been taken against the companies involved in the sugar scam. They have not tried to collect those taxes. No steps have been taken to recover the taxes related to the coconut oil scam. No steps have been taken to recover the taxes related to the garlic scam. It is very unfair to place such a heavy burden on taxpayers without recovering that money. It's unfair. This was the response by the trade unions. Without exempting a single rupee from taxes, keep our salary as well. Our people will starve or eat sand. That's what Ranil Rajapaksa is saying. This country is not being built. They are squeezing the lives out of the people. They are trying to starve the people, so immediately change this tax bill that taxes all government, semi-government and private employees today. We will continue our fight until this is done.
Former MP Hirunika Premachandra stated that one group is destroying the country. By next January, 54% of the children will be suffering from malnutrition, which means that more than half of the children in Sri Lanka will be suffering from malnutrition. After dragging the country to the lowest level of poverty and turning this country into a poor country today, the politicians are jumping from side to side to decide that the country is poor. That is the situation in the country today.
While tax hikes have come into the spotlight, allegations of rampant corruption continue to emerge despite the economic crisis in the country. Acts of large-scale corruption that have strained the national economy the most have been identified internationally as economic crimes. These economic crimes were continuously highlighted during the recently concluded 51st session of the UN Human Rights Council. Today, the Sri Lanka Freedom Party shed more light into the corrupt deals surrounding the controversial procurement of coal.
Black Sands was awarded the tender on the 25th of August. Once it was awarded, it is approved after a performance bond of $37 million is agreed upon. However, the company failed to obtain $37 million. Thereafter, the tender is cancelled on the 22nd. Even after it was cancelled, the unsolicited proposals should have been evaluated. The company named CMAC Browns had presented an unsolicited proposal. Neither the procurement committee nor the technical evaluation committee did anything. The proposal presented by a company to provide 1 metric ton for $290 for 2 years has not been considered. This is clearly a deviation from the recommendation presented by the President to the Cabinet. There is another concern. A situation where Sri Lanka runs out of coal will emerge. The Minister of Power and Energy presents a cabinet paper on the 22nd and says that a Swiss-Singapore company that was awarded last year's tender is yet to send more shipments and that Black Sand Suec is contracted to send 2 more vessels. Suec says if they are allowed to send 6 vessels, they will deliver coal. The cost of that is $325 per metric ton. But the Black Sand shipment cost $117 million for 6 vessels. Through this, you can understand what the issue is here.
Now හයට යනවා ඩොලර් මිලියන 117ක්. ඒතර ඔබට තේරෙනවා ඇති මේකේ තිබෙන ප්‍රශ්නේ මොකක්ද කියලා ඔබට තේරෙනවා ඇති මං හිතන්නේ ක්‍රියාවලියත් එක්ක.
A survey conducted by the University of Peradeniya has revealed that almost half of the total population of Sri Lanka is suffering from poverty.
පෙරදෙණිය විශ්වවිද්‍යාලයේ ආර්ථික විද්‍යා අධ්‍යයනාංශයේ අපි ආචාර්යවරු කිහිප දෙනෙක් එකතු වෙලා ලංකාවේ
A few professors from the Department of Economics of the University of Peradeniya got together and conducted a study considering whether it is possible to gain some kind of understanding about poverty in Sri Lanka. In 2019, nearly 3 million people lived below the poverty line, which means they are suffering from poverty. But it became clear to us that the number has increased to 9.6 million. Our study revealed that 42% of the people living in Sri Lanka are currently suffering from poverty. We considered the fact that how many of the families living in Sri Lanka can suffer from poverty. According to that, it became clear to us that about 2.8 million families in Sri Lanka can suffer from poverty. If we take the number of family members, it's about 48 to 49% of the total population. That means almost half of the entire population may be affected by poverty this year.
කුලී වැඩට ගිහින් තිබ්බොත් කුලී වැඩ කහල් කියලා ගලා අම්බ ගරියක් තම්බලා එක තමයි දරුවන්ට දෙන්නේ මෙලේ නැගලා මට වදීලා ඉතින් ගුරුදලයක් ගන්න දුම වෙල කන්න නෑ උදේ වියා ගන්නවා ඒකේ තියෙන ළමයිනුත් එක්ක කනවා බෙදාගෙන රාජේ මොන සමුද්දී හම්බුන 1500 පින්පරිය 250 කව් වෙනවා පැතක්ම ගන්න කියන්න ඕන මෙලේට තියෙන මම මේක ගන්නත්.
What you just witnessed was the plight of one family in Alapattava, Anuradhapura. That was just one story, and there are thousands more. And in order to understand the ground reality, one must visit the village in rural Sri Lanka. That is the primary objective of the Gum at the Door-to-Door campaign, which entered its 8th day today.
Gum at the Door-to-Door. The Gum at the Door-to-Door team in the Anuradhapura district visited multiple villages in Galen Binduruwa to inquire into the primary issues they face. This evening, the team visited the Alapattava village in the Horopatana Divisional Secretariat, where almost every single person is a daily wage earner. This is one of the many villages in Sri Lanka that was severely battered by Sri Lanka's economic crisis. G. Punchimanika is a grandmother who is facing a constant battle for survival and to make ends meet. She provides shelter to 2 small children who are diagnosed with leukemia, while their mother goes for day labor to earn a living so that she can put food on the table. When Gammatha visited their home, only rice was available for lunch, while a dal curry was provided by a neighbor. These 2 small children aged 10 and 5 have great expectations for the future. The little girl aims to become a nurse one day. Yet their illness and poverty have taken a toll on their everyday lives. The people in Gaul put forward a plethora of issues to the Gum at the Door-to-Door team. The team visited the Upper Lelwala, Lower Lelwala, Kirindalahena, Indurupatwila and Bubula villages in the Vanduraba Divisional Secretariat. The Gum at the team came across the Yagalduwa Anicut when passing through the Baddegama Divisional Secretariat. As water does not recede from this Anicut in a proper manner, floodwaters have damaged over 800 acres of paddy land. Around 1,500 families in the area benefit from this waterway. However, these farmers have raised serious concerns over the renovation of the Puhulduwa Anicut located at high ground, while the Yagalduwa Anicut can be renovated at a very low cost.
මාර්තු මාසේ ගහපු ලියුමේ තියෙන නඩත්තු කරයි කියලා. දැන් අපිට තියෙන ගැටලුව මහත්තයා මේ 21,40,000ට උනේ මොකද කියන එක. අඩි දෙක සිලින්ඩර් එකටක පොලි කොන්ක්‍රීට් චුට්ටක් දාලා තින්ත ටිකක් දාලා තියෙනවා. එච්චරයි වෙලා තියෙන්නේ.
The Gum at the Door-to-Door team visited the Pesale village in the Mana district. The main issues faced by these people is the fuel crisis and the illegal poaching in Sri Lankan waters by Indian fishermen. The people living in Kiliyan Kudirippu depend on the Palmyra industry. However, the absence of a proper market for Palmyra products has made their lives difficult.
The Gum at the Door-to-Door campaign program is continuing in search of new issues faced by the Sri Lankan populace. However, that does not mean the old unanswered issues are simply forgotten.
The village of Mahakaramava in Karuwadagaswava is a climate vulnerable village in the Putlam dry zone, and these people have been deprived of access to clean drinking water for many years. The sight of mothers accompanied by their children walking under the scorching sun in search of water is nothing new to this village. What is even more unfortunate in this poverty-stricken village is that almost every single child drops out of school after primary education. Adding more woes to the existing issues, around 530 families in this village have fallen victim to the chronic kidney disease. The small children of the village who are unaware of these dangers continue to consume unhealthy waters as there is no alternative.
ඉතින් අපි බලාපොරොත්තු වෙන්නේ කොහෙන් හරි හොඳ වතුර ටිකක් ලබා ගන්න. මේක බොන්න බෑ. මේක සුදු පාට දුන්නාට ලස්සන දුන්නාට මේක චූල් වතුරක්. මේක බියොත් එම සෑමවල හැදෙනවා. මේක අපි මේ පොල් ගස් වලට වගේ හොඳ හින්දා මේක පාවිච්චි කරන ඒවට. අපිට මුකුත් ඕනේ නෑ. අපිට පානීය දැල් ටික පමණයි අපිට ඕනේ.
That was a message to Sri Lanka from the village of Makarambava. St. Peter's College, Colombo, located some 150 kilometers away from this village, has stepped forward to bring a peace of mind to the villagers and their families. Founded by Reverend Father Maurice Leacock in 1922, St. Peter's College, Colombo is a school known among educationists as an excellent seat of learning. Guided by many visionary rectors for nearly 10 decades, St. Peter's College has braved many a storm and risen to be one of the leading educational institutions in Sri Lanka. As the school is celebrating its centenary, the students decided to collaborate with Gammadda to build a water purification project for the village of Mahakarambava in the Karuvalagaswava Divisional Secretariat of the Puttlam district.
So us coming from St. Peter's College or coming from Colombo School, we receive all the facilities that we need to receive while we school, and also the basic needs of a human being is satisfied when we live in Colombo. Living outstation, getting basic needs is a difficulty.
The students wanted to join with a project that serves the community. This project is taking place with 100% contribution from the students.
This is a sustainable project. This is not a temporary thing. This project is sustainable, and this will benefit thousands of people for at least another 20 to 30 years.
We also wanted to share the joy of centenary with the others who are less privileged. Now our children are blessed in a way. They have so many resources in school. But they also should see that in our own country that there are less privileged people who don't even have the basic needs. And that's one of the reasons why I thought every student should contribute in their own way. We don't decide on a particular amount, but whatever the contribution that they could afford to do, we will make sure that these children are also, every child is part of this project. True, it's a challenging time for everybody in our country. Everybody is going through tough times. But even these tough times, there are others who struggle more, and we need to think about it.
Gammadda and St. Peter's College will reach the village of Makarambava soon.
What is the President's stance on children's rights? More news on this will follow after this short commercial break.
News First, main sponsor.
25% for 2 months, 25.5% for 4 months. Valuable FD.
Local and foreign jobs, solutions to labor issues, and a host of other services for the Galle District at Glocal Fair 2022. The path to success on the 15th and 16th of October 2022 at Samanala Ground, Galle, along with a grand musical show with popular stars for your entertainment. Log on to www.glocal.lk for more information and to register.
මොකද මහත්තයා මේ
නෑ මේ ගෙදර සිංක් එකේ
අයි මහත්තයා ස්ලෝන් නෙමෙයිද දැම්මේ
හදිස්සියට බාලා පයිප්පයක් දැම්මේ නැද්ද මුදලාලි ඊයේ පෙරේදා කඩේ රිපෙයාර් කරන්න ගෙනාපු ගම් චුට්ටක්
මේ වගේ ප්‍රශ්න වලට හොඳම විසඳුම ස්ලෝන් ගම් චුට්ටක් හැබැයි ඉක්මනින් දාගන්න ස්ලෝන් පයිප්පයක්
ස්ලෝන් ගම් චුට්ටා හැම ගෙදරකම සිටිය යුතු ජනනල කාර්මිකයා දැන් ළඟම ග්‍රොසරියෙන් මිලදී ගන්න.
A trusted place for your fixed deposit. Valuable FD. 25% for 2 months. 25.5% for 4 months. Valuable FD. The symbol of stability.
Welcome back. You're watching Primetime News on TV1. Schools of fish have been found dead and washed ashore on the Manakatya Vava located in the Galen Bindurumava Divisional Secretariat in Anuradhapura. News First's Sandro Satyajit reports from Anuradhapura.
This lake acts as the lifeblood to more than 7 villages with over thousands of people living in these areas. People use this lake for bathing and for fishing activities. Villagers have stopped buying fish from local fishermen after schools of fish were found dead and washed ashore onto the Manakattiya River.
This is the Manakattiya River in Galimbindru River, Anuradhapura. The route lake for many of people's livelihoods, where people bathe, where people get their fish from, to over thousands of villagers in multiple villages across this lake. But this is the current state of affairs. Close to 2 to 3 days ago, dead fish, mostly large fish, have been appearing on the shores of this side of the lake, and despite this, most fishermen say that there is no problem at all and have been continuing their daily activities, including people who have been going into bathing, etc. But most of the villagers have also been stricken with fear as to what the reason is, what is really going on with this fish. People have no access to clean drinking water around the area. This is the largest water body in the village where people look up to for hope as well. But despite this, the current situation is extremely drastic.
Fishermen from the village say this is caused by a minor virus in the freshwater weed of the lake.
They said that there is a minor virus in the freshwater weed of the lake. During this economic crisis, the only thing we can eat is freshwater fish because there is malnourishment. So we have to eat freshwater fish.
Will the relevant authorities respond to the call of the people?
As many Sri Lankans have cut down on their meals, the demand for staples have also seen a drop. Newsfirst's Tina Marian filed this report from Negombo and Palyagoda regarding the prices of fish that have slumped due to low demand.
What's happening here is an auction. Not just any auction, but an auction for a fresh catch will likely become someone's meal. Usually more than 200 to 300 Sri Lankan fishing boats set out to sea. However, after the economic crisis hit, coupled with an acute shortage of fuel, most of the Sri Lankan fishermen have been forced to tie up their boats to the piers, hoping for better days.
Every morning, boats come with a fresh catch from the deep sea. However, only a limited number of boats had gone out to sea due to the fuel crisis.
The demand for fish has slumped. The main reason for this is the high cost for fuel and the rising cost of living. A litre of fuel that cost only 70 rupees before is now almost 400 rupees. The catch has dropped, but the price does not increase because the demand is low. Due to a high price of fish in the recent past, many multi-day fishing boats set out to sea. However, the demand is dropping and the price of fish has also dropped. But the cost to set out to sea is over 100,000 per multi-day fishing boat. Fishermen who catch tuna have to bear a higher cost, that is almost 1 million rupees per journey. Each boat has 6 workers and the owner. Given the current costs, it is impossible to engage in this trade.
Today
we sold the entire catch for 2,700 rupees. There is no point in selling the fish for that price because our cost is very high. We are setting out to sea again for a period of 1 month. We need to survive given the circumstances.
The catch that is brought ashore in Negombo reaches the Palyagoda fish market in Colombo, where traders hope to fetch a better price to cover their cost. However, after the economic crisis hit Sri Lanka, these traders tell us a different story.
The prices of fish has dropped compared to previous days. This is because the demand from the consumers is very low. The people don't have money to buy. Everyone working here is a day labourer. Their wages depend on how the business is going. There are some days that we actually cannot pay the workers. This is the new pattern of payment. The demand usually is high when the price is low. But this time the demand is low even when the prices are low. The entire fisher community is in dire straits because of the high costs borne by the fishermen to bring the catch ashore. The slumping prices are putting the entire industry at risk, mainly because the demand is very low.
The rising cost of living in Sri Lanka, coupled with months of shortages of many essentials, has forced many Sri Lankans to skip meals to survive for the remaining days until better days dawn.
The prices of fish at the Paliakoda fish market is less compared to Negombo. The reason for this is the low demand. Many people told Newsfirst after the economic crisis they have decided to cut down their meal. I am Tina Marian for the Newsfirst team.
In more news from here at home, President Ranil Wickremesinghe has instructed the police to take immediate measures to prevent children from being taken to demonstrations. He made these remarks while joining a special discussion held at the President's office regarding the protection of children's human rights.
The President has pointed out that taking children to demonstrations by using them as shields is a serious offence according to the laws of the country. We will have to put an end to children being taken to protest sites. These children are being taken there not because there is no one to care for them at home, but as a shield, just like Prabhakaran did. If anyone is coming forward like that, it will be stopped. If we allow this, everyone will start taking children, including university students. Article 27 of the Constitution says that the state shall promote with special care the interests of children and youth so as to ensure their full development, physical, mental, moral, religious and social, and to protect them from exploitation and discrimination. Why don't we have an act to protect children's rights?
Child Rights Act එකක් දාන්න නැත්තේ. ළමෙක්ට මොකක් හරි වුණොත් ලොකු මේකක් යනවනේ.
Former Norwegian government minister Erik Solheim has been appointed as an international climate advisor to President Ranil Wickremesinghe, along with former president of the Maldives, Mohammed Nasheed.
He called on President Ranil Wickremesinghe earlier today and tweeted that the president has a great vision for green economic recovery and for Sri Lankan climate leadership.
Norwegian diplomat Erik Solheim also called on former President Mahinda Rajapaksa in Colombo earlier today.
Former President Mahinda Rajapaksa had extended an invitation for Norwegian businessmen to invest in Sri Lanka during this meeting. Mahinda Rajapaksa congratulated Erik Solheim for being appointed as an international climate advisor to President Ranil Wickremesinghe and wished him all support in this new role. Mahinda Rajapaksa, in his discussions with Solheim, recalled the contribution made by Solheim to Sri Lanka as the peace negotiator between the Sri Lankan government and the LTTE during Sri Lanka's civil conflict and discussed the negative impacts the conflict had on the Sri Lankan economy. Who is Erik Solheim? Erik Solheim was a key negotiator representing the Norwegian government in seeking a peaceful outcome to the Sri Lankan war. He was actively involved in the peace process between the Sri Lankan government and the LTTE from 2000 to 2003. During that period, Solheim was the Minister of International Development for Norway. Erik Solheim acted as a negotiator in the peace accord signed between the LTTE and then Prime Minister Ranil Wickremesinghe and the process that followed. He distanced himself from the process in 2005 after Mahinda Rajapaksa was elected president. In 2016, he was appointed the executive director of the United Nations Environment Programme until 2018, when he resigned following severe criticism of his global travels and international rule-breaking, which led to some nations withholding their fund. A recent draft internal audit said he had incurred costs of $488,518 while travelling for 529 days out of 668 days.
Meanwhile, opposition leader Sajith Premadasa says he will fight against the state terrorism alongside with the people.
මේ ආණ්ඩුව පියගුළු ආණ්ඩුව මේ ආණ්ඩුව පිරිස් බලයට බයයි.
They are a fearful government. They are afraid of the masses. They are scared when the youth rally together. They are cowards. This is a shameful government surrounded by armed men. They don't care about the hunger of the people. If suppression is what you want, just do it. That's fine. But you won't last long, because suppression doesn't last long. The people's power is above everyone. Even state terrorism can be defeated when the people rally together, and we will do it.
මර්ධනයට ආයුෂ නැහැ. ඒ මොකද මේ රාජ්‍ය ත්‍රස්තවාදය අපි ජන බලයෙන් ජන සවියෙන් පරාජය කරනවාමයි කියන එක මම මේ අවස්ථාවේ කියන්න කැමතියි.
The Balamandala meeting of the Vielawa electorate in the Badulla district took place under the patronage of opposition leader Sajith Premadasa.
More news follows after this short commercial break. Stay tuned.
නිවෙස පුරා ගලන මේ සතුට සුරක්ෂිත කරන්නේ එස්ලෝන් ඉන්සයිට්. එස්ලෝන් ජීවයයි ජලය ජීවිතේ.
Welcome back to the news. Tilini Priyamali, a businesswoman who was arrested on suspicion of financial fraud and was remanded, was brought to her office situated at the World Trade Center in Colombo today.
Tilini Priyamali, a businesswoman, was brought to the World Trade Center today under the special protection of prison officials. The police said the Criminal Investigation Department had brought her for investigation on a special order obtained from the court. Police spokesperson SSP Nihal Taldua said that the Criminal Investigation Department alone has received about 250 complaints regarding the transactions she made.
As this year's T20 World Cup inches ever so closer, Sri Lankan spin phenom Wanidhu Hasaranga is hopeful that the Asian champions are capable of winning this year's T20 World Cup as well.
The Sri Lanka cricket team attended a gala organised in Melbourne following their victory over Zimbabwe during a warm-up encounter prior to the first round of this year's World Cup.
The plan is simple, that is to win the World Cup similar to how we won the Asia Cup. I intend to claim the highest wickets during this World Cup as well. My target is to be the #1 all-rounder in the world. If I am to do so, I need to perform with the bat and the ball. The qualifiers will be important for us to prepare for the rest of the matches. As a team, our intention is to perform well during each match. Playing in Melbourne is similar to playing in Sri Lanka in terms of the atmosphere. That is important to us.
You know, we came quite early thanks to the SSC. You know, they wanted us to come here to get climatized, and it has actually worked. The bounce of the wickets, and especially it's just the cold weather, which we are not used to, because we mostly play in Asia, and it's some sort of different experience. Most of the boys, they are quite young and new to Australia, so they are the those are challenges that we have to come along and just win through them. But we have proven ourselves, but you know, it's just we take everything as a blessing, and of course we want to perform to the expectations that the crowd has. And as I said before, so all what we want to do is, you know, play good cricket. You know, some people might say we are not the favorites, but we are here just to play some good cricket, and we just want to prove ourselves. And end of the day, if we can clinch that title, that will be immense to the whole country as well.
Our boys, the Asian champions, will face the world at the T20 World Cup starting Sunday. Would you like to send the Sri Lanka team your wishes? Here is your chance. WhatsApp a 30-second clip of your creative wish to 0777 6020. I repeat, 0777 6020, and end your wish with Jayagamu, Sri Lanka. We will show Sri Lanka and the world how Sri Lankans support our lions. Jayagamu, Sri Lanka. And with that, it's a wrap of primetime news for tonight. For the Newsfirst team, I'm Jamal Ratnayaka. As always, take care, stay safe, and good night.